Going through a lot all the time, that's life. It is a dice. And it don't play nice. So my mind's on the... I don't know where I was going with that. But I think what I'm trying to say is life is a baller. Woo! Sho Genge, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is and this is Uncomfortable Growth. To my returning subscribers, to the Genge, I hope that you guys are well. And to those that are passing by, hopefully you like what you see today and you join the Genge, okay? Because we're on the road to 60K. That was a little bit of a flow. I'm getting better. I'm getting better as I go, yeah! So yeah, guys, via the title of this video today, I will be doing a mental journal. I do want to just state that I kind of use this segment to just vent. I don't always have the answers. Yeah, I may not always be super positive, especially when I'm experiencing something. But yeah, man, we're just gonna talk about it a bit and see how I feel about that. So, this is the first time that I think, I could be wrong, but this is the first time I'm experiencing like seasonal depression at this time of the year. Normally it happens towards the end of the year, and it happens because I am tired and fatigued. And I've said this before, whenever I am like just tired and sad, it just becomes so much easier for me to maybe have a depressive episode, or it becomes that much harder to physically fight or mentally fight what I'm going through. So I just become so like submissive and susceptible to my thoughts, and I don't really like want to be positive. And again, that has to do with the fact that I'm normally tired around that time of the year. It is May, so I have never experienced what I'm experiencing now like during this time. So it's super confusing, because for me the first half of the year is really where I'm like my strongest, and I'm just doing everything, and I'm normally super motivated. Even if I am tired, I'll take breaks. But this season has been a very weird one for me, and I've actually been feeling like this for the past 2.5-ish months. It is getting better, and some days are definitely better than others, but I'm learning to be patient with myself. So with my seasonal depression, I just lose motivation. First and foremost, I'm sad. Yeah, like I'm sad. I think my overall aura does become somewhat sad. I become very reclusive when I am going through an episode, which is good because it does allow for me to, you know, like go through the emotions and process what I need to process. But in the same breath, when you isolate yourself for too long, you become very comfortable being in that space. And when all you have are you, yourself, and your thoughts, and no one to like remind you that there is life beyond your problems, or to be positive, or to speak life into you, you know, it can be a bit of a tricky one. So that's how I know that I'm not okay. As much as I am someone who recharges when I'm alone, and that's why I really, really value and love my alone time, when again, this ties into my social anxiety, and because of how everything has been happening in the world, or what has been happening in the world via COVID, naturally we're staying indoors a little bit more than what we usually would, and we're by ourselves, like we're isolating, or with our loved ones, being family. But because I had so much time to be by myself, not being by myself is a challenge and something I have to mentally prepare myself for. I said this in my social anxiety video. This even applies to friends, people that I see all the time. Sometimes it isn't easy. Like some days I may wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna rock today, I'm gonna see my friends, we're gonna have a good time. But other times it really is a situation of like, you've committed, you need to show up, like prepare yourself for being in that space. And I've said this before, social anxiety or anxiety is just a liar, because I will be anxious about seeing people that love me, and spaces where I'll be anxious about going into spaces that are my safe space. So as soon as I do get there, I'm often like, girl, you were tripping. You were tripping, because these are your people, so they understand. So yeah, my social anxiety also kind of is coming into play because I'm going through something and I want to isolate myself. Going out also just makes me a tad bit more anxious than what it usually would. But I'm trying to break that. What helps me when I'm going through anything like seasonal depression or depressive episode or anxiety is reminding myself of the world. Like I've said, like chilling in a room, which is what I do most of the time at home. Like I chill in my room. It is my safe space. Like I love my room, and I've grown to love it because I've added things. Like I have my plants, you know, I have my little fairy lights, I have my blue LED light. Like it's just, I've tried to make it a very welcoming space for me, or have my favorite things in this space, because I spend majority of my time in my room. So sometimes I really have to remind myself that the world is bigger than my problems, and I have to like quite literally go outside and smell fresh air and touch the grass and take a walk and leave my room. Sometimes it feels like the walls are coming in on me, like especially if you're an overthinker and you're constantly in your head. So I bribe myself, which I've been doing quite a lot lately, which is good to some extent, you know, because it's like, okay, Google, you're feeling down, you want to make yourself feel better, obviously do something healthy. I do think my coping mechanisms are 10 times healthier than what they used to be. So like just leaving the house to see a friend, or taking a walk, or riding my bicycle, which I've been doing now, which has really been helping me, has really helped. But in the same breath, I'm also just very frustrated with this year, because there were certain things that I thought would have happened for me by now which haven't, and I just don't know when they're going to, and I just don't know where I'm going. So like anxiety. And then the timeline was talking about a third wave, you know, or we're in the third wave of COVID, and I'm tired of COVID. I'm sick and tired. I'm tired. And also when I saw those tweets, I realized that my reaction to those tweets wasn't normal, because I definitely had a little bit of a trauma response. Just in that December and January, when we were going through that second wave, or when it was at its peak, the timeline was definitely full of RIP tweets every single day, and that's why I took a break, because it was overwhelming. And I'm somewhat of an empath, or maybe I am an empath, in that like I just take on, it's so easy for me to take on what other people are going through. So if I'm subjecting myself to that sort of content all the time, which is what the timeline was at the time, girl, I was not okay. I was not gonna be okay. I don't know if I'm more, sometimes it's also very hard to discern whether or not I'm anxious or depressed. Anxiety is a very distinct feeling though. Like I will feel it in my stomach, in my throat, like I will know. But sometimes, you know, the line is a bit blurred. So that can also be very confusing, because then I don't know what my problem is. Like when you don't know what your problem is, how do you help yourself? You know? But yeah, Galunga, I am getting better. Also, my anxiety makes me, like, as much as depression can demotivate me, anxiety will make sure I'm not productive. Yeah. So it'll start with the depression, like, oh, I don't want to do anything, but I'll know I have to do something, and then I'll feel anxious, and then my anxiety will quite literally, it is debilitating. Like when I have an anxiety attack, or I'm super anxious, it feels like I cannot move. So when I'm anxious, I don't do stuff. I struggle to work. And I've been struggling with YouTube. The platform makes me anxious, and I don't know why. No, I do know why I feel that way. It makes me anxious just because, I mean, I have to do something first and foremost, like it's a job, and I want to do it well. And then secondly, with my subscribers growing, and especially with like when I hit 50K, it's a blessing, and I'm so grateful, but it is overwhelming. Like knowing that many people have subscribed to your channel, and that like people are watching you makes me anxious. I'm also in the process of letting go what I thought my future would look like, which has been incredibly hard for me, and also incredibly anxiety inducing. You guys know my YouTube journey. I started last year Feb, and I never expected for my channel to grow in the manner in which it has. And I'm obviously, again, like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm so sad. And like, I'm very grateful, but I never expected it, so I couldn't prepare for it. And I did not know my life was going to change in the manner in which it has. So honestly, like Google 2 years ago, or even like a year and a half ago, I had always thought like I was going to get a 9-to-5. Where and how, I don't know, because school was kicking me in the ass. But I honestly thought I was gonna get a 9-to-5 of some sorts, live just outside of the city because I really like my peace, you know, and raise my little family and like just live in a bubble. And that's obviously unrealistic thinking about it, because I can't live in a bubble, and like I like to create bubbles for me to exist in, because that's how I protect myself, which is a conversation for another day, because that isn't the best way to always go about things because but letting go of that and realizing that this is my purpose and this is where God has put me. Like, I'm on YouTube for a reason, I'm doing well for a reason. You know, I influence a little bit. That obviously means more eyes on me, being more socially present. And social media was something I enjoyed. Like, for me, like cute posts, drink wine, talk some shit, like, you know. And now it's a job. To some extent, like, I do have to work on those platforms, which is also anxiety inducing a bit, because I'm no longer posting because I want to post and I like it. Like, you've got to post at this time today, tomorrow, to get the bag or whatever. Yeah, just realizing that my life is not going to be as private as what I thought, because again, my current reality is just very different from what I thought things would be. When I say live in a bubble and my little, like, not a farm, you know, but like 30 minutes out of the city, drive in every day, drive out so that I have that away time. So that narrative to what I'm living is obviously different, and I'm just coming to terms with the fact that the bigger I grow, the more my life is gonna change, which is good because that means money and success and all. But I do think, like, being in the public eye and like fame comes with a lot. And it was stuff I'd never prepared myself for because I just never thought I'd have to deal with it. So I'm letting go and I'm letting God, and as much as I may not necessarily like my new reality, just in how different it is, I obviously as much as I don't like YouTube right now, I love YouTube. And I may not love what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't like it right now, but I love it. And I know the reason I don't like it is because of what I'm going through, and my personal life, and feeling overwhelmed. So I think I'm just letting go of what I had thought my life would be and learning to celebrate what it is, because even now, like, I live a relatively good life. Like, God is providing, He's doing things, I am doing well, so I'm trying to focus on that more so than the fact that it's not what I thought it would be. If you are feeling any of these things or any of these emotions, it's okay, we in it together, ciao, we gonna be okay. I do think healthy coping mechanisms are super important. I will do a video on like the active things I do, especially when I'm anxious, that do help me, but I only want to do that video when I feel like I have a better understanding of how to calm myself down, because right now it's like hit or miss. Some days I really can like get it together and some days I can't, but that's also mental health. I do think that coping mechanisms aren't always going to help you, or they may not help you as much as you want to in some episodes, which is okay. I'm also learning not to dwell. So it's okay to be anxious and experience that horrible feeling, but then to let go of it afterwards. Like, same thing, like when it also applies to like sadness. When I'm sad, it's okay. Like, it's okay, cry, but don't dwell, because whatever you're crying about isn't a certainty, and feelings aren't facts, and it's gonna change and things will get better. But if you're feeling the way that I am, I'm sending you love and light and strength, and we will definitely be okay. Be kind with yourself, be patient with yourself, affirm yourself. I found that I now have to affirm myself so much more than what I used to, because I need it. Like, I need to wake up and remind myself that I am capable. I need to remind myself that I'm on this platform for a reason. I need to remind myself that I can do it, whatever it is. Like, I can do the day, and each day is a fight, and each fight looks different. Some days I wake up and the fight may be like, I actually have work to do, but getting out of bed and eating and showering comes naturally. Or some days it's the great fight. I open my ass and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of bed, I don't know how I'm gonna do the day, I don't know how I'm gonna take a shower. I am proud of myself though. Since my last like serious depressive episode, which was sometime last year, it would even affect how often I would shower. And I've spoken about this in my other mental journals. Like, showering, guys, when you're not in a good mental space, the most mundane activities and things take so much effort and so much strength. So there'd be days where I'd just be sad, and I want to be sad, and I want to sit in bed, and I want to close the curtains, and I want to just dwell in what I'm feeling and not shower. I will try again the next day. But I shower every day, and I eat every day, at least one meal or two 2 meals now, you know? So I'm also trying to verbally acknowledge my progress, because if you don't do that, you kind of will always think that you're in the same space, because we don't acknowledge the in-between step. Yeah, track your progress because it's important to do so, and it's so easy to not see that you are being progressive because we want to see ourselves from A to Z. Isn't like, I'm here now, I know the goal is there, and if you aren't there, you feel like you're not doing anything to get there, and it's a journey. Yeah, but we can do it and we will be fine. And take each day at a time, and the fact that you're still here is worth celebrating, okay? The fact that you had a good day yesterday is good. Also, I'm learning to let go of this thing, like, mental health is so crazy because you can wake up on one day and have a sensational day, and then the next day you're down and out, and in your mind you're like, dude, I was okay yesterday, like just yesterday I had a good day, and today I'm now sad, and you want to feel bad or beat yourself up for now like regressing so quickly, especially after having a good day. But each day is different, and I treat each day as its own day. When the day ends, what happened in that day is what happened in that day. I am not obliged, there is no need for me to now carry it into the next day. So if I was happy on Monday and I had a really good Monday, that's great. But if I don't have a good day on Tuesday, that's fine, because Tuesday is its own day with its own battles and needs a different side of Google and is testing different things in Google, you know? So each day is its own day. I love you guys. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna pray, okay? We're gonna meditate, all right? We're gonna listen to some music. We're gonna take some walks. We're gonna have some ice cream. We're gonna talk to our friends. We're gonna see therapists if we can afford to do that. That's me.